This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Greetings, my friends, patriots, lovers of democracy, truth, and justice, believers in peace, freedom, and the American way. Thom Hartmann here with you. Well, Donald Trump is out there doing it again, whether he's shooting himself in the foot or whether he is very wisely and cagily laying the foundation for the firing of Robert Mueller. I don't know. Could be both. Could be neither. Could be, one or the other. The consensus of the chattering Nanob community seems to be that he's shooting himself in the foot, but who knows? He tweeted this morning, they made up a phony collusion with the Russian story, found zero proof, so now they go for obstruction of justice on the phony story. Nice. You are witnessing the single greatest witch hunt in American political history, led by some very bad and conflicted people. Hashtag MAGA, Make America Great Again, Trump wrote. Right. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, the old cliche is that the cover-up is worse than the crime. And in fact, Bill Clinton got prosecuted or got impeached for the cover-up. Richard Nixon got impeached or resigned from office to avoid being impeached for the cover-up. I don't think we can take that back before that to Andrew Johnson, but anyhow, where does this go? I don't know. About 60% of the American people think that Trump is covering something up, and that it probably has to do with the collusion between his campaign and the Russians, or whether it's just good old-fashioned corruption, or why won't he release his tax returns? Well, maybe it's because he's actually in debt and he lied to us all during the campaign, and he's not even who knows? Who knows? But he doesn't want us to know. He does not want us to know. You would think if Donald Trump had absolutely nothing to hide that he would be saying, great, do your job. Come on in, I'll talk to you. But and I get it that that could be interpreted as a variation on the oh, you shouldn't fight for, privacy rights because, hey, people who are innocent have nothing to hide. That's not the argument I'm making here. I mean, there are very clear and serious allegations out there that have been made by people from the former FBI director and Hillary Clinton on down. And, if I was Donald Trump, I would, and if there's nothing there, I would think, hey, get it over with, get it done as quickly as possible so that we can move on. But he doesn't seem to be in that mode, which is causing, I think, probably more heartburn over at the White House than, we'll see where it goes. Mark Sumner just put up a great piece over at dailycoast.com and, quoting the Washington Post and the New York Times. And the headline kind of says it all, but why Trump is really angry, Mueller is following the money. Turns out they're not so much looking at Trump they may be looking at collusion with Russia or whatever, but the main thing that Mueller appears to be looking at is money laundering. This is from the New York Times. A former senior official said Mr. Mueller's investigation was looking at money laundering by Trump associates. The suspicion is that any cooperation with Russian officials would most likely have been done in exchange for some kind of financial payoff, and that there would have been an effort to hide the payoffs, most likely by routing them through offshore banking centers. And Mark Sumner, the author of this piece, says looking into money laundering around Trump is like investigating moisture in the middle of the ocean. He says, you want a place to start? Here's an article that from March 6, 2015 in the New York Times, Dateline, Washington, D.C. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, today imposed a $10 million penalty against Trump Taj Mahal Casino Resort for willful and repeated violations of the Bank Secrecy Act. Terms, and definitions, violating the Bank Secrecy Act is generally called money laundering. Trump Taj Mahal admitted that it failed to implement and maintain an effective anti-money laundering program, failed to report suspicious transactions, failed to properly file required currency transaction reports, and failed to keep appropriate records as required by the BSA. So, you know, hey, you want Trump and money laundering? I mean, it's laying around in the news reports, right? You don't have to do a lot of effort to find that. Anyhow,